Taylor Swift. You are a role model across the world for your unprecedented talent and accomplishment, your fierce advocacy for protection of those facing discrimination, and your commitment to speaking out forcefully, eloquently, and effectively on behalf of all artists. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa. I am now pleased to introduce Taylor Swift, who will respond on behalf of the honorary degree recipients.
Hi, I'm Taylor. Last time I was in a stadium this size, I was dancing in heels and wearing a glittery leotard. This outfit is much more comfortable. I would like to say a huge thank you to NYU's Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Bill Berkeley, and all the trustees and members of the board, NYU's President Andrew Hamilton, Provost Catherine Fleming, and the faculty and alumni here today who have made this day possible. I feel so proud to share this day with my fellow honorees, Susan Hockfield and Felix Matos Rodriguez, who humble me with the ways they improve our world with their work. As for me, I'm 90% sure the main reason I'm here is because I have a song called 22. And let me just say, I am elated to be here with you today as we celebrate and graduate New York University's class of 2022. Not a single one of us here today has done it alone. We are each a patchwork quilt of those who have loved us, those who have believed in our futures, those who showed us empathy.
Researchers have now provided evidence for something Taylor Swift fans have speculated about for years. The superstar's way of speaking has noticeably shifted throughout her career, both in dialect and in pitch. In the earliest years of Swift's journey in music, when she was living near Nashville, Tennessee, her speech revealed traits typical of a southern U.S. accent. But as her career evolved and she released new music and changed locations, so too did the qualities of her voice. For example, by the time she released her 2012 pop album Red, experts observed her southern twang had all but disappeared, and following her move to New York City, her vocal patterns changed yet again. Normally, a person's dialect is closely linked to the region they come from, although it can adapt over time, but actually tracking someone's evolving accent through the years is rare, explained Matthew Wynn, an audiologist from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities in Minneapolis, who commented that it's not usually possible to follow someone throughout their life with a microphone. Taylor Swift, he pointed out, is a special case, since she has essentially spent her adult life with a microphone nearby, making her a unique subject for this type of study, and Wynn called her Tay-Tay as he described her situation. Want more stories like this? Hit subscribe In research published in the Journal of the Acoustical Society of America, Wynne and his colleague examined over 100 minutes of Swift's interviews, selecting samples from three key eras: 2008, when she dropped Fearless and lived near Nashville; 2012, marking the release of Red; and 2019, when Lover arrived and Swift was living in New York City. Using specialized computer software, they analyzed how Swift's vowel pronunciation changed, since vowel shifts are the main indicator of dialect adjustments in English, according to Wynne. Early in Swift's career, for example, she pronounced the I in words like ride with a shortened sound, making it closer to rod, a classic marker of a southern U.S. accent. The OO sound in words such as to also shifted, adopting a TU quality, which is another feature typical of the region. As her career progressed and she leaned further into pop music, the researchers found that her vowels lengthened, making a clearer distinction between words like cot and caught, a feature that reflects dialects from Pennsylvania, where Swift originally grew up, as well as New York. The researchers suggested that these vocal changes were not just a result of geography, but also a reflection of Swift's desire to fit into whatever community she was part of at the time. Wynne himself admitted that he used to think of dialects as simply a map of where a person came from, but realized through this project that they also show where someone wants to belong. Alice Gabby, a linguist at Monash University in Melbourne, Australia, commented that the study's findings align with what many people have noticed. Swift's speech definitely shifted after she moved to Tennessee and then again after returning to Pennsylvania. Gabby said Swift's pattern of adapting her dialect isn't unusual, since many people change their speech throughout their lives, and she pointed out that the shift isn't only about where Swift lived, but also about how she wanted to present herself and which circles she wanted to move in. Subscribe for more insights on celebrity transformations. The researchers did more than just analyze dialects. They also looked at the pitch of Swift's voice, discovering that it dropped after she relocated to New York City. They suggested that this lowering of pitch happened around the time Swift started speaking out more on social issues, although they noted that the change could also be related to getting older. The study's authors used over 100 minutes of interview footage, meticulously mapping changes in Swift's vowel sounds and pitch across different periods of her career. They tracked how Swift's southern accent faded after her years in Nashville, replaced by features that reflected her upbringing in Pennsylvania and her new home in New York. Wynne highlighted how unusual it is to have this kind of data, since most people don't have so many hours of recorded interviews spanning their entire adult life, and he credited Swift's high public profile for making such a study possible. Alice Gabby added that the vocal changes Swift exhibited are similar to patterns seen in people who move between regions or who adapt their speech to suit different social circles, and she noted that these shifts can also reflect personal choices about identity and belonging. The study's findings attracted attention not just from linguists, but also from fans and pop culture watchers, who have often remarked on Swift's changing voice over the years, both literally and figuratively. The researchers suggested that Swift's vocal evolution mirrors her personal and professional transitions, from her country roots to global pop stardom. The fact that Swift's vowels and pitch altered alongside her career milestones prompted some to see her as a living example of how language adapts to context, ambition, and self-expression. The team reached out to Swift's representatives for comment on their findings, but at the time of publication, they had not received a response. If you enjoy these deep dives into the stories behind the headlines, don't forget to subscribe. Swift's journey from Nashville to New York City and her transition from country to pop superstar were not only marked by changes in her music and public image, but also by subtle shifts in her speech. Early on, the influence of Tennessee and the American South was clear in her pronunciation and cadence, with Southern vowel sounds and a warm twang that matched her musical style at the time. As Swift's music shifted away from country and towards pop, and as she began spending more time in New York and other big cities, her speech gradually reflected those environments, swapping Southern features for patterns more typical of the Northeast. The study's use of computer-assisted linguistic analysis allowed the researchers to pinpoint exactly how and when these changes took place, providing a level of detail that's rare in studies of dialect shift. Both experts agreed that Swift's case underscores the fluid nature of language and identity, showing how public figures like her can influence and reflect broader cultural trends through their personal transformations. Wynne and his co-author concluded that Swift's changes in vowel pronunciation and pitch were closely tied to both her physical location and her evolving sense of identity as an artist and a public figure. They argued that her willingness to adapt her speech might have helped her connect with different audiences and communities at various stages of her life and career. Gabby said Swift's vocal shifts are a reminder that the way we speak can be shaped by where we are, who we're with, and what we want to say about ourselves. The research has sparked conversations online about how other celebrities change their voices, intentionally or otherwise, as their careers progress. Swift's unique position, having so much of her life documented in interviews, performances, and media appearances, made her an ideal subject for this type of analysis. The researchers hope their work will inspire further studies on how language evolves in the context of fame, movement, and personal reinvention. For more fascinating stories at the intersection of language and celebrity, subscribe now to stay updated on every discovery.